I gotta get that sound effect, by the way.
Do you have to pay for sound effects? Like, can sound effects be copywritten,
Yes.
Rated?
Copyrighted, yes. Yes, they can.
Is it copyrighted?
It's copyrighted, yes.
That sounds not English.
Well, it's because you have
It goes
right.
against everything I learned in elementary school.
A copyright is a right of copy.
Does that mean whoever wrote it wrote it?
No.
They copyrighted
Okay,
it?
hold on a second. I'm going to move my microphone real quick. So the question here, folks, is what is the past tense of the verb copyright?
It should be copywrote.
It's not copywrote.
I copywrote it.
No, because copyright is spelled COPYRIGHT. When you write something, it's WRITE. Okay? So a copyright...
So like you righted a wrong.
Yeah, so yeah, it's not copy wronged either. You don't. That's not something that you do. Don't stop. No, don't. I shouldn't have put that idea in your head.
No.
So a copyright is a right from that protects you against copying.
If you illegally copyright, that would be a copy wrong.
No. Oh.
Right?
Welcome to Caffeine and Chaos with Cassie and Nate, where we talk about family, parenting, and finding humor in the madness. Laugh, cry, relate, repeat. Here's Cassie.
Oh, that was the opening right there. That was it. Oh, you bet it was. Absolutely, that was the opening.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
Here we are.
So you can start with your hey hey or whatever you do to do that.
My hey hey?
Yeah.
I'm not feeling the hey hey today.
You're not feeling the hey hey today?
No, I need a bluer hey hey. I almost sound like Matthew McConaughey there for a second. But that's all right.
That's all right.
All right.
Yeah, that's...
Wait, is that copyrighted?
Very good. No, it's not copyrighted. I don't think you can actually do that.
He's never going to watch this podcast. I don't know. He doesn't have kids.
I don't know. And I don't know where he came up. Anyway, I think any video of him doing that would be copyrighted by the person or organization that actually filmed it. The original film or videoing of him saying that, that belongs to the person who actually got that shot. Okay. And so they have the rights to sell that to somebody else.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to copy wrong him, so it's fine.
Wow. I can't stop her, folks. I just can't.
Welcome back this week.
So welcome back to Caffeine and Chaos, or welcome to Caffeine and Chaos if this is your first time here visiting on the podcast. Mm-hmm. Cassie is a single mom of two boys, two, blonde-haired,
blue-eyed beach boys.
There it is. Yeah. Thank you. Yep.
They are.
And they are 7 and 3, soon to be 8 and 3.
Jet
right?
will turn 4 in November, and then shortly after in March, Johnny will be 8.
He'll be 8. Yep.
Which apparently is the age he thinks he deserves a cell phone.
Oh, he's been selling that to us as well.
But it's so funny though, because he'll be like, Mom, when I'm 8, can I have a cell phone? I'm like, I don't know, buddy. Well, I'll talk to your dad about it. And then he'll be like, Mom, when I'm 18, can I have a cell phone? I'm like, yes, that's when you can have a cell phone.
I tell you what, here's the thing. You can have a phone when your age is the same version as the iPhone that comes out.
Hey, that's a pretty good rule.
We're at 13 right now, 14 right now.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. So by the time he gets up to, by the time he gets up to 16, it's going to be on,
Probably
an
there.
iPhone 20.
How old was I when I got my first one? Which, granted, was when it was like Nextel and there wasn't internet on the phone and you had to pay for you got a certain amount of texts in your package.
Oh, no, I remember, oh my gosh, here's how old I am. I remember that you used to pay by character for texting. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it wasn't on a phone. You actually had a pager.
Yeah.
And a texting pager, oh my gosh, the amount of money that you paid per character was crazy.
Yeah.
And then cell phones came out and nobody wanted to text because I could just call people on the phone.
Yeah. Do you remember though? You would wait until 7:01 because you got free nights and weekends.
Oh, absolutely. Free nights and weekends.
Let me call you back after 7.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like we'd actually call people on the landline and say, "I'll call you back on your cell phone after 7:00."
Yep.
That's that's what it used to be like. Yep, and there was still long distance at that point in time.
Oh yeah.
You know, you actually paid for calls that you called that were sometimes even in your own area code if it was like a long way away.
Right.
So we're in the 269 area code, and if we called somebody that was far enough away from the hub,
517?
no, even a 269 number that was far enough away,
Yeah.
it was like that's long distance, and you're going to pay by the minute.
Oh my gosh.
And so if you go ahead,
I was just going to say age-wise, I know I had my phone in like the end of high school, so I must have been 14, 15 when you guys got me on 16 maybe. But again, it was so different. And hear me out with Johnny.
we had the Nextel chirp thing too, right?
Yeah. And if you didn't want
That
to
was
listen to what
pretty
they were
cool.
saying, you just put your finger on the button and it would go, like, I'm not listening. Or you keep fighting with them, like you try to talk and they weren't done talking yet.
So now we have apps for walkie-talkies, and nobody uses them.
That's why I don't understand that. We got rid of Nextel and we got rid of the chirp or whatever it was called, and now we have apps for it.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Well, I was going back to what I was talking about, the texting pagers.
yeah.
And then that business just died as soon as cell phones became affordable for the general public.
Yes.
That text messaging thing died.
Yep.
And then the stupid part about how we are as consumers is that as soon as we put texts on the phone themselves,
Yeah.
nobody makes phone calls anymore.
I know.
So in
Some
fact,
people argue that, right? Some people are like, I'm still a phone call person. Don't text me. And some people are like, don't call me. I'm not going to answer. Just text me.
well, here's the thing too, and I did this with you today because I knew you were at work.
Yeah.
I said, "Can you talk?" Before I called her on the phone, I texted her to make sure that I could actually call her on the phone.
Right. Which then concerned me because you typically just text.
Yes.
So then I was like red flagged, like, oh crap, he needs to talk on the phone, which means it's something serious. So that just is a test to, again, how like different the times are now. Like, not only do we not call anymore, but if you text and ask me to call, I'm already like,
It's like an emergency or
what is
something.
it? Yep.
And it was time sensitive, but it wasn't emergent.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it had to do with insurance and the fiasco that we had last week, which you're going to hear about. I'm certain
gonna
during
talk
this.
about it?
Oh, you bet we have. Well, because we are going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about our main subject today is
Yeah.
going to be about traveling with young children.
Yes.
And
Because we just got back from a weekend trip.
yeah,
With the boys joined me on, us on.
and we will talk about that trip right after this. All right, and we're back, and we started talking about cell phones and you're actually kind of on the fence about Johnny
Yeah.
getting one. Now he's going to be 8 years old. So really,
Yeah.
he can barely read the letters.
So here, he's learning. He's doing really well in his
Uh-huh.
reading. We just had his parent-teacher conferences. He's doing very well. The teacher said, he's doing great. He's a little chatty. And I went, oh,
You think
that's not surprising at all.
apple doesn't, or the acorn doesn't fall far?
Not very far at all. No, he's doing well and he's super sweet. So I'm on the fence about the cell phone thing. One, because it's not very abnormal. Like, he has friends that have them. And so, I would obviously, parental controls are a thing, and you can even get phones now that are kid phones, so they can just send a quick text, or it's only on Wi-Fi,
Right.
so they don't have a whole plan and they can't go crazy. Well, it doesn't matter if they go crazy because everything's unlimited now. But I'm on the fence because, and it's kind of a sensitive subject, and so I'm trying to talk about it in a sensitive but very serious manner, that unfortunately, I would prefer to have him have the accessibility to a phone in case of an emergency. And unfortunately, in today's day and age, in the last 10 years, we have seen too many scary things happen at schools. And so I am on the fence about it. Also, my son goes between two different households. Granted, if he wants to call me, he asks his dad, and his dad has always given him the phone so he can FaceTime me throughout the week or just talk to me about his day. But I think I am on the fence. Not really a struggle. I'm just on the fence of, do I take that leap and get him something so he has it of his own? He wants it for games. Let's be real. He wants it for games. And part of me wants to get him one to have for games so he doesn't have mine. How many times have I been down here talking to you and I'm like, I don't know, let me check my phone.
And Johnny's got
and
it.
Johnny's got it, or Jet's got it, watching some kids show or
Watching
something.
a video, playing a game or something like that.
So it's one of those, like, it would be great for him as a responsibility tool. It could be something that he gets during the day and then I take at night. We have a friend in Lansing, my friend Katie and Jay have 2 daughters, Olivia and Harper, and Olivia got one when she was like, once she turned double digits, I think. It was like once she was like 11, 12, she got one. Well, then Harper saw her older sister have one, which is what I'll deal with, right? So I got to think about, if I get Johnny one at 8, when's Jet going to want one?
Right.
So, yeah, I'm kind of on the fence. I would love some opinions from other parents.
Absolutely. If you're watching or listening on Spotify, go to spotify.com and look up Caffeine and Chaos. And in the episode notes, you will see that you have the opportunity to leave a voice message. Let us know what you think. How young is too young? And what are the situations where you would think that you might consider going even younger than what you tell us? We'd love to get your opinions. We will play those on the next episode, and we'll discuss those, and hopefully we can kind of further that discussion a little bit as well.
I'll take all the advice I can get. I really, again, because this is my first time as a parent dealing with this kind of thing, so any advice I can get, I'm open to all suggestions. Do I wait longer? Do I take the plunge now? What do you say?
And that's the generational difference, because when we got you a phone, there wasn't an internet to search.
Right.
Okay.
There weren't apps to have to be worried about.
Exactly. You're talking about having Wi-Fi, and as soon as you have Wi-Fi, you have access to all of the information that's on the internet.
Yeah.
And so, and they can load a browser. It's not like you can take the App Store off of an iPad or an iPhone, or Google Play.
Right.
And if they find apps that are free, and let's face it, every browser is free.
Or if they find the apps that are free, but then you have to pay for stuff.
Oh my goodness.
I work in our card operations at the credit union here locally, and I used to work with a card fraud. And I don't know how many times I would have parents call and they would go, I let my kid play on my phone. They downloaded a game, and I have all of these charges because they were downloading armor for their character. And they want to,
or evidently the 7-day free trial is over.
The 7-day free trial is over, and all of a sudden they're like, "What's this $45 charge for Sonic?" Or something. What? I don't know if Sonic charges, but it's the concept. Yeah. So you have those things to worry about. You didn't have to worry about that when I had a phone. You just had to worry about, was I still texting it at 10 o'clock at night when I should be in bed?
Mm-hmm. And with whom? And that's the thing though too, is that you've got to be careful, even as an adult. I mean, I take a look at apps. Usually it's for either effects or video or graphics kind of things for my production, right?
Right.
And I'll go, okay, I'll check this out. And then it's like 7 days free trial and then $64 a year. And I'm like, whoa, let's back up.
I'm really bad about that. And I'm like, I'm going to try it for 7 days and I'll set a reminder on my phone. And then I don't.
Right.
I end up paying for it for a month. And then I'm like, shoot, I got to cancel that. They get you. They know what they're doing.
Oh, they absolutely know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because people they just go, oh, we'll do this, 7 days, and then I'll cancel it, and then life happens, as it does, and then they get the charge. Now you're in banking, you're in cards, so we won't mention the name of the organization that you're with.
Yes,
but. Okay, we'll do this. What is the range of policies that you've heard in the banking industry, and what does yours do specifically when you have those kind of charges that come up and people complain about them?
Sure, absolutely. So actually, this might be really educational for whether you have kids or not.
Right.
I think a lot of people don't know this if you're not in the industry. So there's 2 different things. There's fraud and non-fraud. So if you have card fraud, that's when you call me and you go, I don't know what this charge is. I didn't go to this store. I didn't go online and shop. I have no idea where this came from. That's card fraud. Mm-hmm. It means you didn't do that transaction. Non-fraud is when you go to how do I explain this? You authorized the charge, but that, you ordered a couch and then it came and it was this big. Or, you ordered a table on Amazon and it never came. So non-fraud, those things are still, there are policies and protections. We use Visa, not MasterCard or any other. We use Visa. And so there are protections within our institution and through Visa where they're not going to hold you responsible for those things. One, if it's something you didn't mean to get it, or even services, people can say, like, I went to get this service done on my car and they mucked it up. Okay,
well, and the first one of the 2 I want to talk about because it said
fraud.
No, it wasn't card fraud. No, the first of the 2 examples that you just gave, as far as the non-fraud was concerned, was where you didn't mean to get it.
Right.
The thing is, you signed, and I got air quotes up for those that are listening, an implied contract.
Right.
I agree to pay for this particular thing after the 7-day trial or whatever it is.
Yes.
Okay. You didn't cancel, and so they have the right to charge you.
Yeah, so we do run into that a lot where they'll say, my kids got on, I gave them my phone, my kids got on this app, which was connected to my card. I didn't authorize my kids to do this transaction. Sometimes a sticky situation comes in where because when we do a chargeback, we're basically going back to that company and going, these people want their money back.
Right.
So sometimes these companies will go, it's not my fault that she gave her phone to her kids. She gave her phone to her kids. Much like if you were to give me your debit card and say, hey, can you run up to the bank real quick to the ATM and grab me $100 with my card? Here's my PIN. You cannot turn around and call the bank and go, that wasn't me taking money out, but you gave me your card and you gave me your PIN, so you gave me access to those funds. Much like with these apps, you have to be careful. Here's my phone. Whatever happens, you gave your kid your phone knowing that your card was connected to that. So most companies are not going to go, oh, you're right, kids are a B. Let me give you this money back. Legally, they're not responsible for what you choose to do with your access of funds.
So effectively, your phone at that point, once you put in that PIN, is an everlasting ATM until you log out of it.
Yes.
Effectively,
for the most part, yeah. And I will say, I tend to encourage people to do this a lot. I use Apple Pay or any kind of those pays. And a lot of people get nervous. Like, I don't want to put my card number in my phone. I don't want to put my card number in this site. The thing about that is there's something called tokenizing. So when you use Apple Pay at the grocery store and you go and you use Apple Pay on your phone, it doesn't take your card number. What it does is it encrypts it to a token. So for whatever reason, that machine that you use to use your Apple Pay gets compromised. They don't have your card number, they have the token number. So they're not going to be able to use your card number. So I'm actually a big proponent for using Apple Pay, things like that. It's an extra level of security so that your card number is not getting out there. But a lot of people are hesitant to do that.
Now, we're both Apple users.
Yeah.
And
well, they have Google Pay.
Right, but I think that there's also a way to, for right now, I've got an iPhone 13 Pro Max, and so usually it's double click on the power button in order to authorize the charge.
Right.
Now, I think there's also a way to either have facial ID or some sort of a 2FA, so that they know that you're actually the person that's authorizing this charge.
Yes.
And it should be that way for the 7-day trials too. So Face ID for the 7-day trial or Face ID for whatever charge.
I'm not worried about Johnny downloading apps on my phone because you have to have my Face ID to do it.
Right.
Even if you were to learn my password, I set it up so that it's my Face ID.
So you've actually already done that. You've got that option set up so it's not the double click on the side.
Well, you have to double click it.
But then
then it asks for my face.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so parents, if you're giving your kids your cell phone for games or videos or what have you, check into those options, and I'm sure that you're going to be able to find YouTube videos that'll help you go step by step through that, so that you don't have to incur those charges or have to call the bank or credit union in order to try to get those reversed. Because, like Cassie just said,
it can be a fight sometimes.
Yeah.
And another thing I would recommend, also don't forget about gaming systems, Xbox, PlayStation. One thing that I would recommend doing, and our financial institution does it, I think a lot of places do, is you can get, like I have a specific debit card and a specific checking account that I put like my play money on, like my spending money. Or so like Johnny has his PS4. I use that card if he earns a game, we put money on that card and that's what we buy it with. That way, if he's in there and he accidentally clicks on something he shouldn't that's supposed to spend money, it's going to decline it because I don't have the money in there.
Right.
I don't have it signed up to my primary checking. I have it set up to a completely different account. So that's what I would recommend that for anybody with kids in general. And we should eventually down the line. We did not plan on talking about all of this.
No, but this is good information.
It is good information. And what we should do is go do a further dive deep into finances and kids in general. But yeah, I recommend just being careful, making sure you know what you have signed up to what, especially with the kids' gaming systems. With a Nintendo, I did the same thing. I signed it up with that debit card that's not my main money. It's this side. It's almost like Johnny's account. It's not. I should set him up his own, and I will eventually. I work in a bank, and I should have that. They have their savings, but they don't have their checking yet.
So basically what you're saying when it comes to gaming systems, just to kind of make a synopsis of just kind of boil this down, is if you have to have a bank account that's attached to your PS4 or Xbox or whatever, make sure it's an account that you have as little money as is necessary to be able to.
Don't let it be the account you pay rent out of.
Oh no, yeah, don't do that because Fortnite. Oh my word!
It's too easy because the kids don't know that. It'll say like, buy these 30 coins. And they're like, oh, I need 30 coins. Sure. They don't understand that that's connected to mom's money.
Right.
It's not, if it said, ask your mom for $20, maybe they would consider it a little better. But all it says is, get this gear. And they're like, oh, cool, I can get this gear. Click. The kids don't know.
No.
And if they do, then you can talk to them. But like my kids, they're too young. They don't know. They don't know when they're downloading those apps or playing those games and they get an extra life that it actually costs money.
The ease of transaction anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not necessarily a fan of Dave Ramsey's, total no debt procedure as far as life is concerned, because leveraging for specific things, business and house, that kind of a thing, isn't necessarily a bad idea when it comes to finances. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm just saying there's some things that I agree with and disagree with as far as some different financial gurus are concerned. But Dave Ramsey says when he says cash is king, it hurts more to actually take that physical stuff and put it in somebody else's hand for a transaction. And that's missing anymore. I mean, I've spent so much more money on Amazon just because I can go, oh, that looks great, click, and I'm like,
I should buy into Amazon stock. I'm sorry.
Oh my word, yeah.
It's too easy.
And there are other vendors that I could get stuff from, but it's like Amazon is the worldwide Meijer or Walmart for lack of a better term. Meijer, for those of you who don't know, we live probably an hour and a half away from Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is the home and birthplace of Meijer. Thrifty Acres is what it used to be, and Meijer supermarkets. And so it was like the one-stop shop to get everything. Well, you want to talk about one-stop shop. Amazon is just...
it is the Meijer
mammoth.
Of the internet.
Yeah.
The Kroger of the internet. Not even, Kroger was grocery only.
It really was. Anyway, we're digressing a little bit. So long story short, make sure you know how much money is available for your kids to click, because otherwise you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be making phone calls and wasting time anyway. But back to what we were talking about when we got into this, financial, games on.
I don't even know how we got here.
It was games on the phone type of thing.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Oh, yeah, we were talking about phones, but we eventually want to get to travel.
And we went to a family wedding last weekend.
Yeah.
And it was, Mom and I went up, and you went up with both boys.
Yes.
And it was more chaotic, I think, than what you had expected it to be.
Traveling with kids always is. Mm-hmm. Traveling with kids can be a hot mess. Traveling with kids can be easier than you anticipated. So specifically, we'll talk about this weekend first. So, because I always say this, and I will say it every time, everything's situational, right? So different types of trips can be different kinds of stress levels. Different ages can mean different kinds of trips. And let's face it, leaving your house pre-kids is so much easier than after kids. And I don't say that in a negative way. I'm just saying point blank, it's a fact. Before kids, you can grab your keys, grab your wallet, and go. Doesn't mean if it's a quick shopping trip. If your friend calls, says, hey, come over and hang out. Great, no problem. On my way. And you're literally out the door in 2 minutes. There is no way. There are minimal ways to be able to go, yeah, no problem. I'm on my way, and be out the door in 2 minutes when you have kids. There's so much more to think about.
Sure.
So this weekend specifically, though, which, by the way, I think she watches, so congrats, Trav and Maddie.
Yeah.
So stinking happy for you guys. What a beautiful wedding. It was so much fun. The boys had a blast. Jet was, what's the term for he was kicking loose. I don't know. He was on the dance floor 24/7, even before the dancing started.
Dude was running laps.
He was so cute. I should give you some footage that I took from the weekend to show them. My boys were looking dapper.
They were looking dapper.
I tell you what, they were adorable.
So here's this kid in suspenders. He lost his suspenders early on.
They didn't last past the first bathroom trip. He was like, don't want those.
Johnny did okay.
Johnny did.
Johnny did okay.
Yeah.
He looked sharp. But here's this 3-year-old kid with a starched long sleeve collared shirt, just literally doing laps around the entire venue, and you couldn't stop him.
No, And well, and I'd want to sit at the table to wait for things to start. I want to go on the dance floor. I want to go on the dance floor. And you don't want to tell them no. You're like, well, that's kind of half the reason of what you do when you're at a reception,
yeah,
right?
but all that was missing was the 3-year-old girl for him to kind of,
I know.
Yeah, I think the youngest girl there was probably 10.
She looked at like 8, 9, maybe. I don't know. And we didn't know her. She wasn't our immediate family.
No, she was a cousin somewhere along the way, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, we never actually met her prior to the wedding itself.
No. Were you talking about Tiff's kids?
Yeah.
Oh, well, so we did meet them at the family reunion, so the boys knew them.
Oh, you did. That's
We
right.
met them
Because we didn't go up to Wallace
You
weekend.
did,
That's
yeah.
right. Okay.
And digression. Anyways. So traveling with the boys, it does get a little crazy. So let's go down the list. Okay, leaving the house. Let alone going for a weekend, you have to pack yourself. And when you're packing for something like a wedding, you're not just like, I need 3 days worth of clothes. You need 3 days worth of clothes and you need your fancy outfit.
Yep.
If it's a fancy wedding. Me, as a girl, I needed my makeup stuff, my hair stuff, an extra pair of shoes, the fancy dress. You have to, it's all those extra things. You got to make sure you have everything you need for being away. And then with the boys, you good over there?
Keep talking. I was going to just cut to your camera as I'm just kind of peeking and making sure. I'm kind of paranoid because I'm like, this is like driving a Tesla. Because I'm usually in front of all the production equipment, including my video switcher and the mixer for the microphones.
Sorry.
And so as she's talking, and I was just going to cut to her camera angle. I'm just trying to duck over here. Oh, and
I messed you up. I'm sorry.
and make sure that.
So, anyways, we're going to pretend that he's not checking over there. The camera's on me.
So-
I'm doing so much better. If you watched a couple episodes ago, I'm doing so much better at looking at the camera.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yep. That's great. So basically what I'm asking you to do is if you catch me kind of going off camera, just keep talking.
Just don't call you out is what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
stop.
it. No more calling
Don't
out.
call me out
So
on that.
sorry. Anyways,
Pro tip number
pro
463.
tip. Got it. In the notebook. Duly noted. Okay. So anyways, packing for a wedding.
It's bad enough with 2 parents. I mean, really.
Well, so for the boys then, then we were packing the boys.
Uh-huh.
And I'm the mom that I will pack an extra outfit just because you never know when they want to play in the rain, when they're going to have, if someone has an accident, whatever. Well, for the youngest one, obviously. So, and then pack their fancy stuff. And getting kids into fancy clothes, I was never that mom. I was never, regular clothes, fine. But I never tried to dress my 2-year-old to look like a 16-year-old. And no offense to the moms that do, I'm very jealous of you, actually. I think it's really cute when you can have your kid looking all dapper at 2. But
I don't think it's jealousy so much as admiration.
I admire it.
Okay.
I do. I want to be a Pinterest mom, but I am not a Pinterest mom. But I appreciate and totally love looking at all the stuff for Pinterest moms. Gabby is a Pinterest mom, and I'm always like, of course, your stuff looks perfect. It's so great. I'm so jealous, but I'm not. Great job. Wish I could do that, but I'm not gonna. Anyways, so packing is crazy. Mm-hmm. Weddings are crazy. And then depending on what kind of trip you take. So let's talk about even just the grocery store. Pre-kids, you can just go to the grocery store. Take your list, go, get the grocery shopping done. You're not worried about anybody else. Taking your kids grocery shopping? It's like trying to keep a caged bird from flying. And it's loud and it's very vocal that it wants to get out. And you're trying to entertain it. So I found this is very unhealthy, so I don't recommend this. But with the boys, Jet's obsessed with monster trucks, and Johnny likes little figures to play with, like Roblox figures and stuff. And so we go to the store, and the boys know. I said this was unhealthy, right? The boys know. We go through the toy section, and they both get to pick out one small toy. It's usually something $10 or less. And then if they continue to be good throughout the shopping trip, that toy will make it onto the
conveyor belt.
The conveyor belt, yep. And so that's how I have coped with shopping with kids at 3 and 7 because they, now they're at the age, I'm bored. Oh, God. I'm bored. So that's the difference with shopping trips. Traveling on the road. So they get really excited. They're like, we're going on a road trip. They love it. They think it's super fun. But, when we used to take road trips up to Grandma and Grandpa's, which was 3 hours away from us, we didn't have tablets. So it was sit in the car and listen to music, or we played the alphabet game.
Yes.
Which is when you would go, or a lot of families play the license plate game. I don't think we ever played the license plate game.
No, I'm not familiar with that
sure
either.
There's some families out there that know exactly what I'm talking about. We played the alphabet game where you used road signs.
Yep.
And it sucked, playing with you because you have the eyesight of a freaking owl.
Says the person who doesn't have glasses on, by the way. Now, here's
It didn't matter.
Here's the thing.
I think he cheated.
I didn't cheat. I'm just farsighted, and that's why my glasses now. Literally.
We'd be around a curve, and you'd be like, "Q quality," and I'd be like, "Where's there even a sign?" 30 seconds later, there it is.
It
like,
wasn't
how did
30
you see
seconds.
That? But this is
20.
how. Yeah. That's how we got entertainment out of road trips. So traveling with us was a little different. Whereas my boys, they want their electronics. Now, mind you, I will tell them, hey guys, look at the trip, like especially this trip, the trip up north is gorgeous right now with all the fall colors. And I would tell them like, look at these trees, guys, or hey, check out those funny looking deer, because they're cows.
Cows. Yep.
Like, so they aren't 100% in, but they do lean on having those available to them, watching a movie on the road to keep them entertained. So, prepping to leave for a trip is making sure you have the electronics, making sure they're fully charged, making sure you have a car charger for depending on how long your car trip is, making sure you have a regular charger so that whenever you get to where you're going, you charge it for the ride back, whenever that's going to be. It's so, traveling with kids is so much more prep work. And I think it was more stressful for me this weekend with the boys because there was so much going on, because trips are different when it's like, if you're just going on a trip to go visit friends or something, like when we go to visit my friend Jessica in Detroit, we plan to make no plans. And so it's just show up, let the kids will have fun, and it's fine. And so there's not a lot going on. You're not on a schedule. But things like this weekend for the wedding, it was like, okay, we have to make sure the boys are dressed, and don't dress the boys too soon because they're going to mess up their starched pants. And so like I think they ran around in their underwear all morning because I didn't have I had an extra outfit for them, but we had to get them changed into their wedding outfits. And then I couldn't get ready too early. Mom and I had to get ready separate so that someone could watch the boys while the other one was getting ready, driving there. And then, traveling with kids can be totally different. And especially, so when they're babies, you always have the big, huge bag because you got to have diapers and formula or stuff for breastfeeding, or you got to have like all the stuff, toys to keep them entertained. If you're camping, then there's like all these special things now to take for kids if you're camping. And it's wild to me. And it can be stressful. And, when I'll never forget, Johnny was young. Like traveling with newborns, people would think it's easy. They just sleep, right? Well, depending on how long the ride is, I used to base my trips with Johnny when he was a newborn based on his nap time.
Sure.
So if I was going up north, I would feed him his breakfast. I never left at an awkward time. He was very scheduled. But I would be like, okay, you guys are going to have to wait until I give him his afternoon bottle at noon. I'm going to feed him his bottle, burp him, and then we're going to get in the car and go. He'll take his nap at his normal nap time, and hopefully he'll sleep the 3 hours until we get up north, and then by the time I get there, he'll be ready for his next bottle. So you have to like think of those things when you're traveling with a newborn, because I will tell you, listening to your newborn scream in the back seat because they're either too hot or they need a diaper change or they're hungry it's like frustrating.
Oh, it'll throw anxiety at you right
That's
away.
what it does. It causes that, like, it's not even frustration, it's anxiety. It's sheer, and again, it's total difference. When you're driving by yourself, you could drive straight through unless you got to go to the restroom or grab some food. You don't have to, there's nobody else to consider. When you got young kids, you're not only dealing with, I'm bored, you're dealing with, mommy, I got to go potty, and you better hope you're somewhere or have a towel in your car to go pee by the tire. Or you're dealing with, like, I'm bored, I got to go potty, or they fall asleep and they wake up at like an awkward angle, and so they're kind of cranky about that. So traveling with kids can just be crazy. And if I had any tips and tricks, just the preparation, for sure. And I will say though, as much as I'm talking what probably sounds very negative about traveling with kids, I love taking trips with my kids. I love to share experiences with them. And now I just go planning on the unplanned. Now when I get ready to take a trip with them, I just expect the unexpected. I'm just ready to not be ready. And so if we're on the road and we're only an hour out and the boys are like, I got to go potty or I'm hungry, you know what? Okay, cool. I'm going to find a place to stop and we're going to grab some food and hit the restroom. And I don't care if I'm going to be late. because my kids come first. So instead of getting that anxiety or frustration about the trip, I have tried to start to learn to enjoy the journey with them. Because and sometimes it's not that bad. Like there'll be nights the boys will say, this is why I always leave towels in my car, not for random bathroom breaks that I don't have a bathroom and that I have to shield them from peeing on my tire. Because we live by the beach. And so there will be days that the boys will randomly out of nowhere say, can we go to the beach? And actually I did this our last beach trip this year. It came out of nowhere and we were in the car, like driving from somewhere, and the boys were like, we want to go to the beach. And I thought, you know what? We don't have a lot of beach days left. Let's go. So I took the boys to the beach. We didn't stop for swimsuits. We didn't stop to grab snacks. I didn't stop to grab a cooler to make sure I had juice boxes and fruit snacks and whatever. I didn't prepare anything. We just went. And we stayed for an hour, and the boys swam in their shorts because they're boys. Mm-hmm. And I let them get back in the car, toweled off. We didn't plan it, but I just kind of went with it. So trips can be both, in my opinion. You can either have those trips where, like, if you get a chance to plan, try to plan it and be ready to be not ready. Expect the unexpected. Try to enjoy the journey over the trip. And also, if you can just go on the fly, go on the fly. Like, it's different because they're both potty trained. So it wasn't like I wasn't prepared for anything. And the boys are to the age now where if they're thirsty, I go, okay, well, let's leave the beach and we're going to the gas station. I'll grab you a water. Like, okay, whatever.
So basically, I don't think it's so much that you enjoy the spontaneity first. I think it's that you kind of went, you know what? My plans are going to go screwy anyway, so I might as well just not make it.
I embrace the chaos. I embrace the...
It's the chaos.
Yeah. Well, and I don't hope. I like the spontaneity, but I really, like you said, I'm embracing the unknown. I just embrace the crazy.
Yeah. It's like, making plans with a 7 and a 3-year-old, good luck.
Yeah.
Really, just good luck with that because, at that point, and I'll say this, if you're making plans as a parent, and do you think that any of those plans you're going to be able to carve out time for you to enjoy those things that you want to enjoy, just expect those plans to go haywire.
Yeah. Planned for your plans to not go. When we went to, what's that museum we went to not too long ago with the boys? Henry Ford.
Yeah.
We went to the Henry Ford Museum and we were like, they're going to love this and they're going to love that. We're going to do this in the morning and this in the afternoon and this at night. Well, then we got there and the kids sure did not like that. So we were like, oh, okay, well, the boys don't like the train. We were going to take them for a train ride. Guess we're not doing that. So let's find something different. So then we tried to do this and it was like, well, we were going to eat in an hour, but the boys are hungry now. So let's eat now. So just your plans will change.
We did get them on a Model T though.
No, we left.
Oh, that's right. You left before that. No, Mom and I did.
You and Mom did the Model T. So, but that's just another example. Like make the plan, but when the plan doesn't start to go according to plan, just roll with it.
Yeah. And when you've got a venue like that, though, it's like, hey, they're going to enjoy this, they're going to enjoy that. And when you're wrong, you're like, okay, what will you enjoy? And then just kind of go from there.
Yep.
And, and it was a good time.
Oh, the boys loved it. Mm-hmm. I told them that we were taking a time machine. So when we walked through the doors, I said, are you guys ready to time travel today? So we walked through the doors because I don't know if anybody's been to Greenfield Village. It's a very cool experience. And they kind of basically live like it is the whatever time frame that is. I don't know the history.
It depends on what part of the park that you're in.
Right. But it's very, very historical. And they live very like they're in those times.
Like 100 years ago. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways. And so I told the boys to try to entice them because you can enjoy sometimes I think parents will try to take kids to things that like your kid is not going to care. You know, not here to judge. There's certain things that I wouldn't do with the boys right now. I'll wait till they're older. Even we've talked about doing a Disney cruise. I loved the Disney cruise we went on, but we went when I was 14 and I could thoroughly enjoy it. 7 and 3,
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. And I think what we're kind of trying to say here is that when you have something that is an attraction, and we're talking about Henry Ford Museum in Greenfield Village, where you've got a ton of things that are available.
Yeah.
Don't pick their food for them. It's like a menu.
Yeah.
Show them the menu and let them pick out what they want for themselves, and then let them eat what they want. I suppose is the analogy. You will just
stress yourself out if you say, well, we were going to do this and the kids don't want to do it. You're going to get stressed out. That's not, like when plans change, you can either let it frustrate you. It's going to be a little frustrating, but I have really tried to embrace the change of like, All right, we're just going to make the best of it while we're here. Whatever you guys want to do, if you're having fun, I sure do not care. We're just going to roll with it.
So those of you chaotics that are with us, we're just going to call you guys chaotics.
I love it.
You like that?
My chaotics.
I just coined that myself.
Hey, did you copyright it?
Anyway, moving right along.
Watch the beginning if you don't know what I'm talking about.
So chaotics, let me ask you this. Planner or spontaneity?
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
Let us know what you are and what happens when your plans change. How do you kind of roll with that or don't you? How frustrated do you get? We'd like to know. Tell us your stories. Go ahead and go on to Spotify.com. Check out the episode. Go ahead and leave us a voice message and we will play those that we think are fun and interesting. And we hope that we hear from a bunch of you. Yeah. So anyway, back to the wedding. It got kind of, because you enjoy that kind of after party dance type of thing.
What are you trying to say, Dad?
I'm saying that you didn't get the opportunity.
No, I didn't.
And
that's okay. I was more bummed that I didn't get to spend the extra time celebrating Trav and Maddie. Because I really wanted to. I wanted to do the dollar dance. I wanted to dance with Trav. I wanted to continuously tell Maddie how beautiful she looked and how wonderful of a wedding it was. I wanted to hang out, but the boys were over it.
Yep.
And that's I knew that there was a potential for that to happen. And so it did. And we just had to go. I had to make that call because no matter what I wanted to do, I have to be concerned more with my boys.
And I want to ask you this too, because there's a different perspective of this.
Okay.
Because your mom started to get anxious as the grandparent.
Because we
and
left.
as your parent, because you had to.
Yeah.
Okay. Because she's like, well, I want to, and she talked about this last week with you, is that she's like, I know that it's Johnny and Jet, but I wasn't, and she says, I wasn't concerned so much about Johnny and Jet as I was concerned about my baby.
Right.
And so she was concerned about you.
Yeah.
And, call me the bad guy. I don't care. But here's the thing. I try to protect my wife and my wife's time, even when it comes to being the Nana.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know exactly what you're getting at. So typically mom would have been the one to go, you know what, I'll take the boys and you enjoy yourself.
Right.
And I knew that was somewhere in her mind, at the front, at the back, on the sides. It was somewhere in there swimming along. But I also knew that this was an opportunity for you. I had seen all the family at Wallace Weekend. You guys hadn't. We don't get to see a lot of mom's family because they're 3 hours up north from us. So I didn't want to put mom in that position to miss out on my behalf because I wanted to go have a few more drinks with the crowd. So it ended up working out perfectly, though, because Jet, we haven't talked about this, but Jet has some sensitivities to loud noises and touch, like tags on clothes, but specifically loud noises. And so you and mom told me that it got loud at the end of the night. The music was very loud, like so much so that Jet would not have been able to handle it. So I know what mom would have loved to have done for me by watching the boys. But as a mom, I wanted my mom to enjoy herself with her family. And that's a part of my responsibility as a parent.
And doggone it, I dialed her up.
She looked so good.
I'm the rare husband that'll actually go clothes shopping with his wife. And I enjoy doing it. And we found a dress, we found shoes, and even
jewelry. That jewelry
set.
Story she told me was so cute.
And that was just fun for me. So to have the opportunity to help her feel as though she looks as good as she could look for the event that she was going to.
Yes.
There was no way I was going to let you steal her away from me that night. And I told her that.
I support that. That's good. Well, you guys do a lot for me.
And the thing is, though, is that I do need to protect my boundaries, but I do recognize, as a grandfather, that we enjoy those times.
Yeah.
But I do need to set boundaries. And I don't, like I said, I don't want to sound cold here. It's just, you have a lifestyle that you've chosen, and these are the decisions that you've made. And there are some, even when you have a job that you love, there are things that you hate to do that you have to do in order to do those things that you love.
Sure.
Same thing with parenting.
Yeah.
Okay. You know that I love my kids.
Yeah.
But there are things that I hate to do.
Well, and I think with parenting, I don't think a lot of people think about the fact that with parenting, there's a ton of rewards with being a parent. Mm-hmm. But some people forget that parenting also comes with responsibilities. So you can't only enjoy the rewards of being a parent,
right,
without also enduring the responsibilities of being a parent.
Yeah.
And sometimes one weighs over the other. So as much as I know, I could have looked at mom. Had I really wanted to, I guess it never crossed my mind. I mean, it crossed my mind like, I bet mom and dad would take the boys for me. But that's not what I wanted for you guys. I had already decided in my mind.
I was already in the mode that wasn't going to happen. It was my decision at that point that,
I had made my mind up that I wasn't going to ask. You had made your mind up that if I did ask, you weren't going to allow it.
Exactly. So we were already on this.
It worked out.
It worked out fine.
Then. Yeah. No, but it just, even though I wanted to stay, it didn't work out for the boys. And then I was exhausted. Like I didn't even want to go back to our Airbnb and like have a drink. I was just like, I'm tired. By the time I got the boys out of their clothes, and kids, when you travel, they're not in their normal surroundings. So like my kids sometimes have a hard time. Like they just get so excited that they're on a trip.
Oh, they wouldn't go to sleep the night before.
They would not go to bed. And so then they're cranky. And then one had a runny nose at the end of the night. And I was just like.
And that just goes to the plans that you try to make.
Yeah.
Kids have emotions and their brains, let's face it, they're not fully developed. And so you're not going to get the response out of a child that you're going to get out of an adult.
Yeah.
And recognizing that's part of the challenge and responsibility of being a parent. But like you said, the rewards and the memories that you can create in the midst of that is what makes it worth it. And not only that, but when you get to become the parent of a parent,
sure,
then you get to go, yep, I know, we were there.
Yeah.
And that's part of the joy of life.
Yeah.
So that's
of the parenting world.
It is.
So I feel like our time is coming short here to an end, but I will say I'm hoping. So next week I'm hoping that my friend Gabby will join us, and I because we're talking about planning to not plan or whatever. Her and I will I'll be able to tell the story of how we became friends and when she and her husband they were trying to decide if they wanted to have kids. And basically my advice to her was, you have to be ready to not be ready. And so we will go into that further when all the advice I gave her and what that means specifically. When she gets to join us, she's going to do my makeup for me because she's a professional makeup artist. So I think it'll be fun. It'll be something a little different.
Now, hopefully by that time, we'll be able to have the long version of the videos
up on
YouTube. Because Cassie has such a new channel, it wasn't available for us to have the 35 and 40-minute full episodes of the podcast up on YouTube yet. If you do want to watch that on video, you'll have to do that on Spotify.com. I know that the Spotify app is probably the easiest user experience to be able to get that on video.
Yeah, I would agree.
But otherwise, you can listen on Spotify or Anchor.fm, and also the micro content that we try to create, a couple, 3 of them a week, so that you can kind of catch snippets of episodes that are what we think are highlights. So make sure you check us out on Spotify and Anchor.fm. Check out the YouTube channel. Check out the short videos that we got on there, and hopefully by the time that you and Gabby that we upload that video, we'll be able to have that on YouTube as well as Spotify.
It'll be fun.
So that you can watch that podcast as well as listen to it, because obviously you're going to be doing the makeup thing.
Yeah.
So what I'll be doing is probably putting lav mics on the both of you so that you can sit in a chair and she can do her thing.
Probably not, because she's going to have to do my makeup.
Yeah. If she's going to do your makeup, then yeah, we're going to have a lavalier mic on you.
So I was thinking on the face.
No. On the
do I know I'm not the producer?
It'll be on the collar thing. But now we're talking about technical stuff that y'all don't really care about. So here's the thing, Gabby and Cassie, hopefully next week, if plans don't change, which as parents have, they do.
Life happens.
That's absolutely true. So for Cassie, I'm Nate, and we hope that you've enjoyed this episode. We've covered a number of different things as far as banking tips and traveling with kids. And
cell phones, when to do cell phones. I would love the advice.
Absolutely. So make sure that you get onto the episode and leave us a voice message. Leave us some encouragement as well if you would so choose to do that. We'd love to hear from you guys. The Chaotics, as you are now dubbed.
I love it.
We look forward to hearing from you, and watch for the Facebook page as well and leave comments on that.
We're going to be hopefully getting that set up tonight.
Yep, we're going to get the Facebook page up so we can actually have conversations and talk with you guys off camera and away from the podcast as well. So look forward to that. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.